Very few prospects have seen their stock rise more than VJ Edgecombe heading into the 2025 NBA draft. While he wasn't the most polished recruit coming into college, he quickly proved he was one of the most explosive and versatile athletes in the entire class. And throughout his freshman year at Baylor, VJ showed flashes of two-way dominance that scouts simply couldn't ignore, from lockdown defense to highlight reel finishes in transition. But with a draft class full of wings and guards, all vying for the same lottery spotlight, is VJ Edgecombe really worth a top 5 pick? Let's break it down. Born in the Bahamas and raised in New York, VJ didn't take the traditional path to basketball stardom. He actually grew up playing soccer and track before fully committing to hoops in his early teens, and once he did, the rise was fast. By the time he got to Long Island Lutheran High School, it was clear he had something special. He was raw but gifted, unrefined but relentless. And it didn't take long for high major programs across the country to take notice. In high school, VJ Edgecombe developed into one of the most explosive and impactful guards in the nation while playing at Long Island Lutheran in New York. By his junior year, he was already making national noise, averaging 17.3 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 2.5 assists while being one of the best defenders in the country. His performances on the EYBL circuit and other national events had scouts buzzing, not just about his athleticism, but about his motor, his intensity, and his clear growth as a two-way player. As a senior, he elevated his game even further. He averaged over 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, led Long Island Lutheran to a strong national schedule, and earned himself a spot as a McDonald's All-American. He was named Gatorade Player of the Year in New York and solidified his status as a top 5 national recruit. Recruiting-wise, Edgecombe had plenty of suitors, with Duke, St. John's, and Alabama all in the mix. But he would commit to play for Baylor, citing the school's track record with guards and the opportunity to play for a program that emphasized defense, development, and NBA preparation. And that decision, it paid off. Because from the moment he stepped on the court in Texas, VJ looked like one of the most NBA-ready athletes in college basketball. When VJ committed to Baylor for the 2024-25 college season, there was plenty of buzz, but also a few question marks. He was a 5-star recruit, ranked the top shooting guard in the country, and fresh off a dominant high school career at Long Island Lutheran. But the Big 12 is no joke. Physical, veteran-heavy, and demanding on both ends of the floor. The real question was, could VJ's game translate immediately? Turns out, the answer was yes, in a big way. From the jump, Edgecombe earned the trust of Scott Drew and his staff. He stepped into a meaningful role right away, and it didn't take long for him to show why he was one of the most sought-after players in the country. He wasn't just an energy guy. He wasn't just an athlete. He was a two-way weapon and one of Baylor's most valuable players. In 33 games, VJ averaged 15 points, 5.6 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 2.1 steals per game while shooting a respectable 43.6% from the field, 34% from 3, and 78.2% from the line. These are strong numbers for any freshman, but what set him apart was the consistency and maturity he showed across the board. He was named Big 12 Freshman of the Year, second team All-Big 12, and Big 12 All-Freshman team, and he earned every bit of it. Defensively, VJ was often tasked with guarding the other team's best perimeter scorer, and he embraced that role. His length, quickness, and instincts made him a disruptive force on the wing, constantly jumping passing lanes and pressuring the ball without fouling. He averaged over 2 steals a game, many of which turned into transition dunks on the other end. Offensively, he grew as the season went on. Early on, he made his impact as a slasher and finisher, attacking closeouts, scoring in transition, and knocking down corner threes. But by mid-season, he started showing off a more complete offensive package: the pull-up jumper, the ability to create his own shot in isolation, and a tighter handle that allowed him to beat defenders off the bounce. Still, his best basketball came when it mattered most, in the postseason. In the opening round of the Big 12 tournament against Kansas State, Edgecombe posted a 19-point, 10-rebound double-double, leading Baylor to a 70-56 win. He was everywhere, scoring inside, hitting from outside, and flying around on defense. In the quarterfinal against Texas Tech, he followed that up with 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in a narrow 2-point loss. Even in defeat, VJ looked composed, controlling the pace, making smart reads, and showing off his versatility. Baylor earned the number 9 seed in the East region of the NCAA tournament, setting up a tough path. But again, Edgecombe stepped up. In the first-round win over Mississippi State, he scored 14 points, including 2 clutch free throws in the final seconds that sealed a 75-72 victory. It was a poised, veteran-like performance from a freshman on the national stage. Then came the second-round matchup against top-seeded Duke, led by Cooper Flagg. The task was daunting, and although Baylor fell 89-66, Edgecombe still delivered 16 points and 6 rebounds, battling hard on both ends and refusing to back down. When you look at VJ Edgecombe's freshman year, there's one word that keeps coming up: impact. He impacted games with his energy, he impacted opponents with his defense, and he impacted his team with his growing confidence and offensive polish. He didn't need 25 shots a night to show his value. He didn't need gaudy stat lines to prove his worth. He just played winning basketball, the kind of game that translates at the next level. His combination of athleticism, defense, and developing skill makes him one of the most intriguing wings in the 2025 NBA Draft. And after a season that featured individual accolades, tournament success, and rock-solid consistency, VJ Edgecombe heads into the NBA Draft not just as a high-upside athlete, but as one of the most battle-tested and NBA-ready freshmen in the country. To put it simply, VJ Edgecombe might be the most dynamic two-way guard in the 2025 NBA draft class. He's 6'5", 180 pounds, with a 6'10" wingspan and all the tools to become a high-impact player on both ends of the floor. His freshman season at Baylor was everything scouts were hoping to see, and then some. He averaged 15 points, nearly 6 rebounds, over 3 assists, and 2 steals a game while competing in one of the toughest conferences in college basketball. His effort never dropped. His motor never slowed. And as the season went on, it became clear that VJ wasn't just a highlight machine. He was a winning player. He plays with tenacity. He plays with purpose. And more than anything, he plays like he belongs at the next level. The first thing that jumps off the screen when you watch Edgecombe is the athleticism. He's explosive in every sense. Vertical leap, first step, closing speed on defense, it's all elite. Whether he's finishing above the rim in transition or flying in from the weak side for a chase down block, he brings a level of pop that very few guards in this class can match. But what makes him special is that he's more than just a run and jump athlete. VJ Edgecombe is a defensive menace. He hounded ball handlers all year long, disrupted passing lanes, and consistently made smart, calculated gambles that led to fast break opportunities. He averaged over 2 steals a game for Baylor, and these weren't soft digs or stat pads. These were tone-setting, momentum-shifting plays that swung games. Offensively, his game took real strides throughout the season. He He started off primarily as a slasher, someone who could attack closeouts, finish in transition, and cut off ball. But by the second half of the year, he was creating for himself more often and hitting tough jumpers off the dribble. He finished the season shooting over 43% from the field and 34% from three. Respectable marks, but more importantly, he was confident letting it fly. His mechanics are smooth, and the confidence is there. If the shooting continues to trend upward, he becomes a true two-way threat. He also rebounds well for his size, competes on every possession, and isn't afraid of the moment. He had big games in both the Big 12 and NCAA tournaments, including a 19-10 double-double against Kansas State and a 14-point performance with clutch free throws in the first round of March Madness. This is a guy who steps up when the lights are bright. Now, of course, he's not a perfect prospect, and there are definitely areas that still need work. His handle is functional, but not yet tight enough to consistently break defenders down in isolation. Against longer defenders or pressure traps, he can get loose with the ball, and his decision-making under duress can lead to turnovers. He's not yet a reliable primary creator, more of a second-side playmaker who thrives off movement and attacking gaps. His jump shot, while improving, still has questions. Shooting 34% from three is solid, but he's not yet at a level where defenders fear his shot off the dribble or go over every screen. He'll need to continue refining that consistency, especially if he wants to be more than just a transition scorer or a catch-and-shoot threat. And while he's an elite on-ball defender, there are moments where he gambles a little too much or bites on pump fakes, leading to rotations breaking down. That's fixable, and honestly a byproduct of how aggressively he plays, but it's something coaches will be watching closely. The other piece is projection. He might never be a go-to scorer or the number one option on a team. That's not a knock, it's just that he's more of a connector and disruptor than an offensive engine. He's gonna impact the game in a lot of ways, but he may not ever average 25 a night. In today's NBA, wings like VJ are in high demand. He projects as a starting caliber two-way guard who can guard 1 through 3, thrive in transition, and fit seamlessly next to a high-usage star. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to make a difference. He plays off others, moves without the ball, and brings constant defensive pressure. The key will be developing that reliable jumper and cleaning up some of the turnovers. If he can knock down open threes at a league average rate and keep defenses honest, the rest of his game already fits what teams want: length, effort, defense, and athleticism. He's a plug-and-play defender from day one, with the potential to grow into a more well-rounded scorer and playmaker as his career progresses. And here's where it gets really interesting. The NBA draft order is locked in, and VJ Edgecombe is firmly projected in the top 5. He's being slotted in most major mocks to go 4th overall to the Charlotte Hornets, with some even having him jump into the 3rd spot with the Philadelphia 76ers, depending on team needs and workouts. The Hornets, who already have LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, could benefit from VJ's defense and athleticism on the wing. He gives them someone who can guard the best perimeter scorer every night while also flying in for lobs, attacking in transition, and spacing the floor. If he somehow goes 3rd to the 76ers, it'd be an odd fit with lead guards in Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. Either way, VJ's looking at a top 5 landing spot. The comparisons for VJ Edgecombe vary, but there are a few names that keep popping up. Victor Oladipo is a popular one. Similar build, explosive athleticism, and a defense-first mentality. Like Oladipo, Edgecombe doesn't need plays drawn up for him to be effective, and he thrives in high-energy systems. There are also shades of Jaylen Brown, not in terms of shooting polish yet, but in the way he uses strength and athleticism to power through defenders and create space in the mid-range. In a perfect world, VJ Edgecombe becomes a starting two-way wing on a playoff team, averaging 17 to 20 points per game, locking up on defense, and spacing the floor as a capable shooter. He plays 30-plus minutes a night, closes games, and becomes the type of guy you trust on both ends in crunch time. His shooting takes the next leap, his ball handling tightens, and he becomes a top 3 player on a legitimate contender. If the shot never truly develops and he doesn't clean up his handle, Edgecombe could be limited to more of a defensive role player. He could bounce around the league as a rotational energy guy, someone who gives you defense and hustle but is streaky offensively and limited in half-court settings. Still valuable, still useful, but not the game changer he could be if everything clicks. Right now, all signs point to Charlotte at number 4 as the best fit. He slides right in between LaMelo and Miller, bringing defensive balance and versatility to a young core. VJ Edgecombe isn't the most polished scorer in the draft. He's not the best shooter, and he's not going to be the face of a franchise tomorrow. But what he is a competitor. He's athletic, he defends, he improves, and he plays with a fire that's impossible to ignore. The floor is high, the ceiling still rising. And heading into the 2025 NBA draft, one thing is clear: VJ Edgecombe is ready. After a freshman season that earned him Big 12 Freshman of the Year and proved he could impact the game on both ends, VJ has done more than just meet expectations. He's exceeded them. He's shown that he can defend at a high level, bring consistent energy, and score in multiple ways, all while playing within a team system. He might not be the most polished scorer in the draft, but his tools, mentality, and two-way upside make him one of the most NBA-ready athletes in this year's class. And now that he's projected to go as high as number 4 overall to a team like Charlotte, or even number 3 to Philadelphia, the league is clearly taking notice. In a draft full of question marks and developmental projects, VJ Edgecombe offers something rare: a high floor, high motor, and the potential to grow into something even greater. If the jumper keeps coming and the decision-making sharpens, he could end up being one of the biggest steals in the top 5. But will VJ Edgecombe live up to the hype as a top 5 pick? What other landing spots do you think VJ could go that we didn't mention? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more draft profiles just like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.